You know, boxing truly is the most brutal of all sports. Unfortunately, at times it seems to be the least regulated of all sports. Well, that's not the case here in Nevada, where the Athletic Commission is considered the best in boxing's business. Its executive director is Mark Ratner.
The club fights are the backbone of the industry, and that's the fun part of it. The pressure of is not the same, but it's very important for the referees to do a good job, for the judges to do a good job, because to these fighters, that's every bit as big as a championship fight. And they know we evaluate judges and referees continually.
We're held accountable for what we do in the ring and what judges do as far as scoring a fight. You know, if you do something in there, you're going to get questioned about it. After every fight card, we have a meeting. Mark goes over, critiques every fight, you know, the judging perspective and the refereeing perspectives.
If judges or referees are having bad nights, then they're not going to be considered for a major television fight or a major championship fight. So the club cards keep us sharp.
Oh, and a big overhand right hurts Tillman, and he's down.
The Nevada State Athletic Commission is made up of 5 commissioners. They are appointed by the governor. They don't get paid. The executive director, in this case myself, I serve at the pleasure of the 5 commissioners.
I think at heart, to be a good commissioner, you have to really be a boxing fan. You know, anytime you get involved in disciplinary action, that's certainly not something that we look forward to doing. That's not why we wanted to be put on the commission, but that's something that comes with the territory, you know, with being responsible for enforcing the rules and regulations.
We got a Kevin with your group? Who's got his credential?
The inspector is the unsung hero of the Athletic Commission. They're the eyes and the ears of the commission themselves. And they're almost like policemen in the corner. They're preventative.
We supervise everything from the weigh-ins through the end of the fight.
You know, we have to make sure that the only drink that they take is water. The inspector can at any time check to see what they're drinking. We check to see if maybe they give them some type of stimulant if the fighter gets hurt.
They're standing there making sure there's not too much Vaseline or grease on the kid's face. In the dressing rooms themselves, they're making sure, and this sounds silly, but that the gloves are not tampered with, that there's nothing inside the gloves.
The fighter never leaves our sight from the minute they enter their dressing rooms to prepare for the fight, during the wrappings, all the way from walking them into the corners and taking the urinalysis for testing during a championship fight. They never actually leave our sight.
When we do the wrapping, we let a representative of the other fighters' camp watch.
They're allowed to use 15 yards of gauze, 6 feet of tape per hand. They cannot have any tape within 3/4 of an inch of the knuckles, so they can't wrap over the knuckles.
Once the fighter's hands are wrapped, so that there can be no tampering with the hand wraps or with the gloves themselves, the inspector puts his name on it or initials it, and then when they put the gloves on, they do it again. So on the tape over the gloves, they initial that too.
Now that's a wrap.
We have 2 doctors in each corner. One of them is the lead doctor. Dr. Homansky is the name that most everybody knows. He's our chief of our medical advisory board. They first see the fighters at the weigh-in. They look at them very closely to make sure that their skin is clear, there's no cuts, that there's no problem with their hands. The night of the fight, if there's a cut, you'll see the doctors go right in the rings. Usually the referee has a clear look into the fighter's eyes. He'll bring the doctor up if he sees anything that could be untoward. The doctor cannot stop the fight, but he certainly will recommend to the referee that the fighter is done. And at least in all my years here in the Nevada Commission, whenever the doctor has recommended the referee to stop the fight, it has been stopped.
So, no, he stops the fight! He stops the fight!
The timekeepers, they have a couple clocks. They have a backup stopwatch. They have a 10-second little, I call it a clapper. They clap it at 10 seconds. You can hear it no matter how loud it is. A mistake in a major fight could cause somebody a horrible problem. So they're very well trained. You'll see a timekeeper, as soon as a guy goes down, start hitting the mat, counting 1, 2, and then the referee picks up his or her count.
He picks it up at 5. Ostater just tumbles over, and that's it. They stop the count, and the fight is over.
The undercard is where we first start working, and we get these fights maybe 4 to 6 weeks out. We have to run them through the computer to make sure none of these fighters are on suspension. And we have to make sure that we don't have a 20-0 guy fighting a guy who's 4-15 or something. On every fight card, I usually have 1 or 2 people that we don't approve. About 3 weeks out, we have a commission meeting. and we, the athletic commission, select the referee and judges.
Cannot win on an accidental low blow.
During the fight week, and the most important meeting I have the Metropolitan Police Department there, I have hotel security, I have other hotel personnel, we have credentialing people, and we go over everything we expect on fight night.
You tell the referee when you come to the dressing room exactly what your concerns are.
Even to the color of the trunks the fighters are wearing, the size of the gloves, the kind of the gloves, what time I want them in the arena, which dressing room they'll have.
If a boxer sustains an injury around number 13 from a fair blow and the injury is bad enough...
What I don't want is come fight night saying, you know, I don't know where I'm going. I don't want any problems fight night.
That's it? Okay, I can weigh Negron and Jab Judah. We can bring up Negron and Zab Judah.
Now it comes to the weigh-in on a Thursday or Friday, depending if it's a heavyweight fight. We have to license everybody who's in the corner. We have to license the fighter.
He's a little heavy here.
We have medicals they have to go through. At the weigh-in, we select gloves. The promoter supplies the gloves.
You can let them pick out the gloves then?
We try them on at the weigh-in. We keep the gloves in a secure place until the fighters arrive that night. Then the inspector holds them until they're ready to put them on. That fight night is our night. I mean, we're in complete charge. We're going to make sure the ring is set up right. We want to make sure that the ropes are tight. And we go through a complete checklist to make sure everything is ready.
We've gone through all the instruction in the dressing room.
There's 4 people allowed in the corner. That's 1 inside the ring between rounds, 2 on the apron, and 1 down on the ground. So those 4 people were licensed.
Stay with the jab. Stay with the jab. So when you're stiff jabbing, good.
All the major fighters have bodyguards. So they do have an entourage. We stop most of the entourage before they get to the ring. They all have to have a place to sit. They can't be kneeling down the corner. Just the 4 people with my inspectors there are all we allow in the corner. Sometimes it does get chaotic. I call it organized chaos. What we don't want is, when that fight's over, 20 people to jump in the ring from each side. That's where the problems can start. Before the fight starts, the promoter will send a representative down with checks for all the fighters. We have all this money in our possession. And when the fight's over, and there's nothing untoward that's happened, there's no problems during the fight, then we hand it directly to the fighter. And we'll have a check. In some cases, it's been as high as $25 or $30 million. Let's say that a guy goes down from a punch nobody can see, which has happened every once in a while. Then we hold the purse. And we have a hearing on it, and we get different films of it, and if we find that the guy has gone down without being hit, then we fine him that purse. The gambling aspect is very big, and I'll give you a good example of a case that happened here. It was the Peter McNeely and Mike Tyson fight, when Vinny Vecchione jumped in the ring in the first round.
McNeely's hurt this time, Steve. He's very hurt.
All of a sudden, this guy jumps in the ring and disqualifies Peter. And the Gaming Control Board immediately called us and said, what do we know about this? Did he do it on purpose? Did he bet the under? Well, it was proven that there was no proof there was any big bets in the first round, because you can bet rounds here, too. But that is a big problem that we always have to look at, and that caused us to win. We had to meet with the Gaming Control Board on that.
Let's see. You know what? He's confident.
The Tyson-Holyfield one, we didn't know what happened. We couldn't tell. I remember very clearly I saw Evander jumping up and down, and I thought that maybe he was kneed or kicked or something. I didn't know what happened.
They could disqualify him.
When Mills, he beckoned me to come in the ring, and he said, I got to disqualify him. He bit him.
He bit his ear. I can see the bite mark.
Okay. He bit his ear. He's out.
Telling Mark Ratner, head of the commission.
Well, let me ask the doc. He bit his ear. Can he go on?
Yes. My decision at that point was strictly, is there a medical reason why this fight can't continue? Nothing more than that. And it was my decision at that time that the injury alone wasn't a medical reason for stopping the fight.
And lo and behold, Mike did it again and then disqualified himself.
Tyson has bit Evander Holyfield for the second time, and it is all out for.
To this day, I believe we made the right decision. I think that it would have been more problems if we would have stopped the fight right on the first bite. The only problem we probably would have really had if the fight would have gone on after the first bite and there wasn't a second bite, and Mike would have knocked Evander out, I would have probably been criticized for the rest of my career for letting the fight go on. But I felt what we did was right that night, and whatever happened, certainly Mike paid the consequences.
Tyson Holyfield was strange, but the fan man will always be the most bizarre incident I've ever been involved in. I did not know what it was. All of a sudden, here's a guy flying in on a rocket or something, flies into the ring in the 7th round of Bo Holyfield. And I went underneath the canvas because I didn't know if he had a gun. We just didn't know.
If you watch a fight in Nevada, here's what you know. You know that the fight has been made and sanctioned by the commission, which is, even though one fighter may be better than the other one, at least theoretically, it's a competitive fight. You know that the wrapping has been done properly. You know that the promotion is above board, has been done properly. You know that the fight has been properly sanctioned and supervised.
Nevada is boxing capital of the world. Some of the most important fights and mega fights in boxing are held here in Nevada. I think we have a great commission, great boxing commission.
And those people, I believe, regulate boxing in the interest of boxing.
One thing I like about the Nevada Commission, they're fair with all the officials, and they're fair with the fighters. They're fair in general, and they're really professional. They handle things in a professional manner.
I don't have dinner with the promoters. I don't take gifts from the promoters. I try to stay at arm's length.
And when the bell rings, you know that you're going to see a fight between two people that have signed a contract to fight under certain protocol. Any questions from the champion, Chief Second? Let's get it on!
We're not saying that other boxing commissions around the country aren't doing a good job, but certainly the Nevada State Athletic Commission is boxing's finest. And if things are handled by other commissions the way they're handled by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, I think the sport will be just fine. Reporting from Las Vegas, I'm Smitty.